Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're your personal AI research team ready to break down some fascinating stuff you sent our way. We're diving into Upsonic this time, and I gotta say, this AI framework for task automation, it's really caught my eye.
Yeah, it definitely goes beyond the usual chatbot hype. We're talking AI that can handle real-world tasks based on what we're seeing in their readme and Docker file.
Exactly. If you're into AI business automation or just curious about the tech that makes things tick, this deep dive is for you. I mentioned AI managing projects, doing your web research, even controlling your computer.
It's not just about giving commands either. Upsonic is designed to make these AI systems more reliable and scalable for real-world problems.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. The Readme describes Upsonic as task-centric, meaning it's all about getting things done, not just chatting.
Right. They've got a range of features from simple calls to a large language model for quick answers, all the way to these V2 agents that can actually interact with your computer
Yeah.
using something called the Model Context Protocol.
I was just wondering about that. What exactly is the Model Context Protocol? It sounds pretty technical.
Essentially, it's a way for AI models to communicate with and control external tools. Imagine like a universal translator that lets AI understand and use software applications, websites, even hardware devices.
So Upsonic isn't limited to one platform then.
Absolutely. It supports multiple cloud platforms like AWS and GCP, and you can even run it locally using Docker. That kind of flexibility is really valuable for developers.
Okay, so we've got the big picture. Now let's zoom in on some of the key features that make Upsonic so powerful. The Readme mentions direct LLM calls, which sounds like a direct line to some serious AI firepower.
You can think of it like having access to a super smart assistant that can answer questions, generate text, translate languages on demand. That's the power of direct LLM calls.
So if I needed a quick translation for a business email, I could use Upsonic to do that in seconds.
Exactly. But what if you need that translation formatted in a specific way, like a side-by-side comparison for easy reading? Upsonic has you covered there too with response format.
So it's not just about getting an answer. It's about getting it in a format that's actually useful.
Hmm.
That's really smart.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Tool integration is where Upsonic really shines. It allows you to connect the AI to external tools and even custom functions you've written yourself.
Hold on, custom functions. So I could potentially teach Upsonic to do something completely unique.
Precisely. It opens up a whole new world of possibilities. Imagine an AI that can search the web for information, but also analyze that information using your own proprietary algorithms.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like giving the AI a specialized skill set tailored to your exact needs.
And it gets even more personalized with the memory feature. Upsonic can actually remember past tasks and preferences, leading to more customized results over time.
So it's not just a one-off interaction. It's like building a relationship with your AI. It
Right.
learns what you like and how you work.
Exactly. And to give the AI even more context, Upsonic provides a knowledge base feature. You can feed it specific information sources like internal documents or public websites, allowing it to give more relevant and accurate responses.
So if I'm working on a financial report, I could point Upsonic to my company's database and relevant market research, essentially giving it a crash course on the subject.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
And what's truly impressive is that Upsonic can even connect the outputs of different tasks. This connecting task outputs feature lets you create complex workflows where the results of one task inform the next.
So you could have an AI that first researches a topic, then summarizes its findings, and finally uses those summaries to generate a presentation.
Exactly. That
Wow.
kind of automation can save you tons of time and effort.
All this is already blowing my mind, and we're just scratching the surface. What else can Upsonic do?
Or remember those V2 agents we talked about earlier? They can actually interact with your computer's interface, making them even more powerful.
Wait, really? How is that even possible?
That's where the Be a Human feature comes in. It allows you to give these agents names, contact information, and even the ability to control your mouse and keyboard.
So it's like having a virtual assistant that can actually perform tasks on your computer, not just in some abstract digital space.
That's the goal. They can open applications, send emails, even fill out forms, all while following your instructions.
This is starting to sound like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It does have that futuristic feel, doesn't it? And we haven't even touched on the advanced capabilities like multi-agent systems and reliable computer use.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Tell me more about these advanced features.
Let's save that for part 2 of our deep dive. You won't want to miss it.
All right, we're back, ready to dive deeper into those advanced Upsonic features. You left us hanging last time.
Well, hold on to your hats. Remember how we talked about Upsonic aiming for reliability and scalability? These advanced features are where it really
Hit
shines.
me with it. What can these superpowered AI agents do?
First up, multi-agent capability. Imagine distributing tasks across a whole team of AI agents, each with its own specialty.
So instead of one AI trying to do it all, you'd have a team of specialized AIs working together, like a well-coordinated project team.
Exactly. It's like having a whole AI workforce. They can tackle complex projects in a much more efficient and sophisticated way.
That's mind-blowing. But how does Upsonic even decide which agent gets which task? It seems like that could get messy.
Well, Upsonic analyzes the relationships between agents and tasks. It figures out the best way to distribute the workload. It's all about optimizing efficiency and making sure the project runs smoothly.
Okay, so that's multi-agent. What about reliable computer use? That one really piqued my interest last time.
Get ready for this. This feature lets the AI agents actually interact with your computer, just like a human user. They can move the mouse, click, type, scroll, you name it.
Whoa, 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 seriously. That sounds incredibly powerful,
Yep.
but also kinda unsettling.
It's definitely a groundbreaking capability. It opens up a ton of possibilities for automation. Imagine an AI that can handle those repetitive tasks, like data entry, file organization, or even basic web browsing, all without you lifting a finger.
I can see how that would be incredibly valuable,
Yeah.
especially for businesses or individuals who deal with a lot of tedious computer work.
Exactly. And it gets even more impressive. Remember how we talked about AI having limitations with memory? Upsonic addresses this with compressed context.
Right, because AI can only hold so much information in its mind at once.
Yeah.
It's like trying to stuff a whole library into your brain.
Exactly. Compressed context is like a super efficient note taker for the AI. It intelligently summarizes huge amounts of information when needed. This ensures that the AI can handle even the most context-heavy tasks without getting bogged down.
So it's like giving the AI a mental filing system that keeps everything organized and accessible.
You got it. Now, let's talk about a feature that ensures the AI's work is top-notch.
Oh, is this reflection? I remember that from the read ad.
Yes. Reflection lets the AI actually check its own work. It sees if it meets certain criteria. This helps prevent those times when an AI gives you a blank response or something that just doesn't make sense.
It's like having built-in quality control for the AI. It makes sure the output is always usable and makes sense.
Right. It's all about maximizing performance and making sure the AI is actually delivering valuable results. And speaking of valuable results, the Riyadh Emmy mentioned some upcoming features. They could really take Upsonic to the next level.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. What's in store for the future of Upsonic?
One of the most notable features is Dockerized server deploy. Right now, you can deploy Upsonic using Docker, but it seems they're planning to make server deployment even smoother and more reliable.
So they're always improving and refining the framework, making it even easier to use and deploy.
Exactly. And that dedication to continuous improvement is really encouraging. It shows they're committed to making Upsonic a really powerful and accessible tool for anyone who wants to harness the power of AI.
I'm already blown away by what I've learned, and I'm excited to see what they come up with next.
Now, how about we switch gears a bit? Let's dive into the more technical side of things. Are you ready for a deep dive into the Docker file?
I'm all in. Let's see what makes this remarkable AI framework tick. All right, we've explored those amazing features and even peeked into the future of Upsonic. Now let's crack open the Docker file and see what's inside.
You can think of the Docker file as like a blueprint for the environment where Upsonic lives. It tells us all the software and configurations that are needed to make it work.
I'm looking at it right now, and it's quite a list. It all starts with Ubuntu 22.22.04, a popular Linux distribution. That's the foundation for the virtual environment.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard starting point for a lot of Docker images. It's like the operating system for our virtual Upsonic machine. And then it goes on to list all the software packages that need to be installed, which is a pretty long list.
I'm seeing things like web browsers, graphical interface tools, Python development tools, even Node.js. It's like they're building an entire virtual computer within a computer.
Exactly. It really highlights how much Upsonic can do. It's not just about AI processing. It also needs tools for web scraping, interacting with user interfaces, system management, and a whole lot more.
Wow, it's amazing to see all the different pieces that come together to make those features work.
And remember how we talked about that computer use feature, where the AI can actually control your computer? Well, the Docker file gives us some clues about how they pull that off.
Oh, right. They're installing a VNC server. Isn't that for remotely controlling a computer's desktop?
That's it. VNC lets you see and interact with the graphical desktop of a remote computer. It's likely a key piece that allows those V2 agents to work their magic with your mouse and keyboard.
So it's like giving the AI a virtual window into your computer
Yeah.
and letting it actually click and type. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's definitely next level stuff. The Docker file even has instructions for setting up a specific wallpaper for this virtual environment.
Attention to detail even in the virtual world.
It's all about creating a seamless experience. Now, before we wrap up our deep dive, there's one more important piece of the puzzle we need to look at. Upsonic's license file.
Ah, yes. The legal stuff.
Wow.
Always important to understand how we're allowed to use these powerful tools.
Absolutely. And the good news is, Upsonic is released under the MIT license. That's one of the most permissive open source licenses out there.
Permissive. Does that mean we can pretty much do anything we want with it?
Pretty much. You can use it, copy it, modify it, merge it, publish it, distribute it sublicense. It even sell copies of the software. There are very few restrictions.
Wow, that's a lot of freedom. So what are the restrictions?
The main one is that you have to include the original copyright notice and the MIT license text itself in any copies or distributions you make.
So basically just giving credit where credit is due. Makes sense to me.
And one more important thing about the MIT license, it means the software is provided as is, meaning there aren't any warranties of any kind.
So no guarantees that it'll work perfectly or meet our specific needs.
You got it. It's up to the user to make sure the software is the right fit for their purpose. But that freedom and flexibility are what make open source software so powerful. It allows for a ton of innovation and collaboration.
Well, I've got to say, this deep dive into Upsonic has been an amazing journey. From its mind-blowing features and thoughtful design to its open and flexible licensing, it's clear that Upsonic is really changing the game when it comes to AI.
It's been a real pleasure exploring all of this with you. It's amazing how much we can learn about cutting-edge technology just by taking a closer look at a Reatomy, a Docker file, and a license.
And for our listeners who want to dive deeper into Upsonic, be sure to check out their website and their Discord community. We'll include links in the show notes.
Until next time, keep those curious minds engaged and never stop exploring.